So, you're thinking about expanding your business north of the border, right? Well, the Canadian market is a massive opportunity, for sure. But let's be honest, getting your products to customers there can feel like navigating a minefield of unexpected costs and delays. All right, let's dive into this and really unpack the single best strategy for not just entering, but actually succeeding in Canada.
You know, for so many businesses, this is the reality. A customer in Canada clicks buy, they're excited, only to get hit with surprise brokerage fees, taxes, and duties when the package shows up. Or worse, it gets stuck at the border for weeks. What should have been a great experience turns into a reason they never buy from you again. It's just this frustrating cycle that costs you sales, and honestly, it damages your brand.
But what if you could make selling into Canada feel, well, just like a domestic sale for your customer? That is exactly what the Non-Resident Importer Program, or NRI for short, is designed to do. Think of it as this elegant solution that the Canada Border Services Agency created to smooth out the entire process.
So, what even is an NRI? It's actually pretty simple. Your company, even though it's based, say, in the US or Europe, becomes the official importer of record. What that means is you take control of the whole import process, but you do it without having to set up a physical office or a warehouse in Canada. You basically act as both the exporter from your country and the importer into Canada.
And the benefits here? They're huge. First off, you slash your overhead because you don't need Canadian staff or buildings. You get complete visibility and control over your supply chain, literally from your door to your customers. But here's the big one. You can sell on a delivered duty paid basis. That means the price your customer sees on your website is the final price they pay. Period. No surprises. And that makes the whole thing feel local, which builds incredible trust.
Okay, so with all this control comes responsibility. When you become the importer of record, you're agreeing to play by Canada's rules. And getting this right is absolutely critical, so let's break down exactly what that means for you. At the end of the day, it all comes down to this. You are responsible. You have to give accurate and complete information to Canadian Customs. This includes classifying your products with the right harmonized system code, the HS code. You're the one on the hook for paying all the duties and taxes right up front, and you have to keep meticulous records of every single transaction for at least 6 years. If you get this wrong, you could be looking at fines or even get banned from importing altogether. And yet, navigating the tax landscape is a huge part of your responsibility. You've got the Federal Goods and Services Tax, or GST, which is 5%, plus all the provincial taxes that change depending on the region. But here's the key takeaway. It's right there on the slide. As a registered NRI, you can often get that 5% GST back by claiming what are called input tax credits. And that is a really powerful financial advantage. Okay. So you've set up your NRI, you're playing by the rules, business is booming, everything seems perfect. But in international trade, the one thing you can always count on is change. So what happens when a sudden political decision sends a massive shockwave through the entire system?
Just imagine this. Overnight, the government announces a new tariff. Suddenly, a bunch of your goods are facing a 35% cost increase right at the border. Your entire pricing model, your profit margins, your cash flow, it's all thrown into complete chaos by a single number.
And this isn't some hypothetical scenario. Shocks like this have very real economic consequences. In one case, it contributed to Canada posting its second largest trade deficit on record, a staggering 5.9 billion Canadian dollars. That's how much chaos it caused as businesses just scrambled to react.
And it hits even the biggest players. I mean, a giant like Caterpillar projected that new tariffs could cost them up to $1.5 billion in a single year. Now, if a global powerhouse feels that kind of pain, just imagine the impact on a small or medium-sized business like yours.
And this quote, it just gets right to the heart of the real damage. It's not just about the money, it's the corrosive effect of the uncertainty. Like this dealer said, customers hesitate, projects get delayed, deals fall through. That instability itself becomes the biggest barrier to doing business. So how do you protect your business from this kind of volatility? I mean, you can't control global politics, but you can control your strategy. This is where you graduate from just being an importer to being a truly resilient market player. It's all about building an international toolkit.
The foundation of your toolkit is, of course, the NRI process itself. It starts with getting a Canadian business number. Then you register with the CBSA and you set up your account on their online portal, which is called CARM. But Step 4 is arguably the most important strategic decision you're going to make.
See, hiring a licensed customs broker isn't just about outsourcing paperwork. In a volatile world, they are your expert navigators. They make sure your tariff classifications are perfect, they handle all the valuation complexities, and when a crisis like a new tariff hits, they are your first line of defense and your strategic counsel. They're essential.
I mean, just look at the difference here. If you try to go it alone in a trade storm, you're facing cash flow crises, major compliance risks, and just crippling uncertainty. But with the right toolkit, expert guidance from a broker, smart financial planning, you gain agility, you preserve your capital, and you can make strategic moves where your competitors are just trying to stay afloat.
Smart financing is another one of those crucial tools. When a 35% tariff hits out of nowhere, you really don't want to drain your working capital. Instead, you can use things like leasing to spread that unexpected cost out over time. You can get fast approvals to lock in prices before they go up even more. It's all about creating a financial buffer that absorbs the shock and lets you keep operating smoothly.
So, what's the ultimate takeaway from all this? We've looked at the mechanism, the responsibilities, the risk of a crisis, and the tools you need for success. Let's just put it all together.
Here's the bottom line. The non-resident importer program is way more than just a logistical shortcut. It is your ticket to competing like a local in the Canadian market. But just getting in the door isn't the same as winning the game. True long-term success comes from pairing that access with meticulous compliance and the strategic foresight to build a resilient, agile operation that can weather any storm that comes your way.
And that really leaves us with one final question to think about. The tools and the strategies, they're all out there. But ultimately, success in any market, especially an international one, it comes down to a choice. In a world of constant change and volatility, are you building a business that simply reacts to shocks? Or are you building one that's prepared to anticipate them, adapt, and lead?